Abdoulaye Diallo will come and talk about the cluster randomized trial of targeted control to eliminate malaria in central Senegal.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I'm presenting you our randomized cluster randomized trial of targeted control to eliminate malaria in central Senegal. This trial is currently still going on. We are in the second year, and I'm pleased to share with you today the study design and the some preliminary results. If you see this figure from the National Malaria Program, scaling up control measures can make decrease malaria. So since 2000, we have a drastically decrease of malaria incidence. In 2002, the malaria incidence was 0.5 in our study area in central Senegal, 0.4 per year per children. In 2002, now it's about 5 cases per 1,000 children. So the prevalence has drastically decreased. And now it seems to be stable at these much low levels. We observe also that malaria is more frequent in old children and young adults. And this map show you our study area, and each circle represents one village. You see the red colors represent the high spot where malaria, we have high prevalence of malaria. So these red colors represent the hotspots. Now you can see that around near to hotspot we have some village with malaria free. This map show you the pattern of seasonal malaria in our transmission in our area. Left hand above you see the year and the month, and we have the malaria incidence according the year and the month. So you can see that we have more malaria cases in September, October, and November. Also means the malaria is very seasonal here. So what we want to do is to stop the seasonal spread of expansion, the seasonal spread of malaria. You can see here there is some cases no malaria. The white circle, there is no malaria, consistently no malaria. Some circle in red, we have high malaria consistently, and the other one sometimes it varies from year to year. As we see in the previous slides, malaria is very heterogeneous in our area. We hypothesize that in area of adjacent hotspots, malaria transmission could not be sustained without immigration of infected people or mosquitoes. So mass drug administration and mass screening and treatment at the early part of seasonal transmission could remove the reservoir of infection and thereby prevent transmission in neighboring areas. So our aim is to reduce the transmission potential to below the level where transmission can be sustained. Our objective is to evaluate the effectiveness of a targeted control strategy in reducing incidence of malaria in hotspot and and in non-targeted areas. In addition, we will compare the efficacy of IRS plus mass screening and treatment versus IRS and mass drug and administration. After, we will evaluate the acceptability, the safety, the feasibility, and the cost of the intervention. Our study site is located in the rural area of central Senegal, namely in the district of Mbour, Bambey, Niakhar, and Fatick. And the study population are all residents. 45 health posts were randomized into 40 clusters. 10 clusters served as control, where only National Malaria Control Program routine measures were used. 15 clusters received IRS plus mass drug administration. And then 15 other clusters received IRS and mass screening and treatment. What we're going to do is, each year we perform IRS in August, and then 2 rounds of chemotherapy, mass drug treatment, mass drug administration, or mass screening and treatment. These in the targeted hotspots. But in all areas, we are promoting care shifting for fever, and we are topping up coverage, bed net coverage. For IRS, we are using Actelic 300 CS. We are known to have a long-lasting effect. For mass drug administration, we are using DHA-PQ, and for mass screening and treatment, we are using RDT first response. Those who are test positive will receive DHA-PQ. For the evaluation, we perform each November a prevalence survey to assess the asymptomatic carriage of Plasmodium, and also we set up safety monitoring, and we perform a demographic surveillance system at household to determine population and risks and to detect deaths. The primary endpoint is the incidence of malaria in year 2 and the prevalence of parasitemia in year 2. And there is some other secondary endpoint. A sample size were calculated taking in account that we are comparing each intervention arm with the control, and we are also comparing the 2 intervention arms. I will present to you some preliminary results. Mass drug administration was delivered by about 100 pair of community health workers for 7 days, visiting each household. And you can see here the coverage of mass drug administration. In September, we have 62 to 96%, and in October we have 41 to 96. We performed a survey after 4 days after each mass drug administration round in a random sample of household to assess the adherence in treatment and reported side effects. We found that about 98% has complete full treatment, and about 28.3% in September, and 15% reported side effects. Fever, headache, dizziness, and diarrhea was the most common symptoms reported in day 4 survey. But some people was coming at health facilities to report side effect. We have one boy who died a few minutes after drug intake, And this boy has known to take mebendazole the day before, but we found no evidence of interaction between mebendazole and DHRPQ. For mass screening and treatment, about 94 pair of community health workers visit each household during 14 days, and the coverage was in September from 40 to 94%. In October, the coverage was from 33 to 74%. The coverage was low in mass and treatment arm because it took longer and it's time consuming. Here we have the prevalence of asymptomatic carriers by RDT in MSAT in mass screening and treatment arm. The prevalence was overall was very low. In September we have overall prevalence 1.17, and in October the prevalence was 1.28. There is high difference between clusters. Another important aspect of our study was the evaluation of the acceptability of the intervention from a socio-anthropological study. We identify some factor of acceptability. First one is the standing of health staff and field workers in the community, the level of information provided by community health workers in household, the test of drugs, and then the cost of drugs because the drug was free. Thank you very much for your attention.
Any quick questions? Yeah.
Hi, thank you for this very interesting presentation. Just maybe I missed something, but the title was about targeted interventions, and you talked about mass drug administration. So I don't catch what is targeted in your interventions.
What is targeted?
Yeah.
Okay. We are targeting in hotspots. It is the village where we have high prevalence of malaria.
So does that mean that you randomize only hotspots, or were the randomized health facility responsible for identifying hotspots?
We randomize health spots into clusters, and then in a cluster we choose villages with high prevalence of malaria.
Okay.
You understand? Good.
Any final questions? Yeah, one final question.
I saw in your group of mass administration and one outpatient or children died. Can you explain more in detail?
I don't understand.
Two boy years old.
More about the person that died.
Okay, the serious adverse events. Yes, the only thing I can say that we performed tests because they were saying that they said that there was interaction between mebendazole and piperacin in people who have long QT. It's a cardiac anomaly, and then we tested the parents of the child, but the test was negative. And then a review of interaction between mebendazole and piperacin have been performed by a colleague who works at MVV, but he found no evidence. So it's not probable that the DHL was the cause of the death.
Okay, I think we'll finish there. So thanks all, and thanks all to the speakers for a great session.